Hello, good morning.
Hello, morning. How the devil?
Oh, yeah, we're perfectly fine.
Good. Right. Here we are again.
Here we are again. What? Fucking hell. Episode 5.
Deja vu, deja vu. Right, today, mate, it's a big one. Today
It is
is
a big one.
It's about what we're trying to do, really, to help people out. So, we've gone through, obviously, who we are. We've gone through what's your number. We've gone through what's your why. Once you've got those things out, the next most important thing is to figure out what expertise you've got in your head, what experience you've got in your head, so that you can go out and actually put together a plan of action, and earn some moolah. So today what I'm going to go through is a thing called the Hidden Expertise Audit, which is a series of questions to make you think about that. So with that said, welcome to Unfinished Business Podcast, and today we're talking about the hidden expertise that you could monetize. Right, so we'll dive straight into it, AJ, yeah?
Go for it, mate.
Right, I'm going to read out a series of 5 questions that are thought-provoking. This exercise should take anybody a good half hour, 45 minutes. So make sure you're comfortable, you've got a cup of tea, you've got no one around you, you've got no notifications on. You know, if you want a bit of background music and whatever, but don't be interrupted in this, because you don't want to pressurise yourself for answers, but you do want to just take it slowly and think through it. Did you hear that notification, by the way?
No, nothing came through on my ear holes.
Some person keeps trying to ping me while I'm doing this, and it's the most frustrating thing, even though you say to all your mates, I'm not free for the moment.
Yeah, no, it's always going to happen. But yeah, I just want to just quickly put a note on what you just said there, where you said, obviously, block everything out, perfect, but answer the questions like with as much intention as you possibly can, because the more information you give in these answers, the better your outcome's going to be.
Absolutely, yeah. And because you're doing it on your own, I'm just muting this, sorry. It's very unprofessional this, but I don't want to stop recording. Basically, because you're doing it on your own, no one needs to see these, so you can be as honest and open, you know, just sometimes, particularly blokes, you know. Yeah.
It's all in here.
That's not going to matter, that doesn't count. And we'll give you some examples. What we'll do is we'll give you some real life examples along the way. So here we go. So I'm going to read off this, mate, because this is actually one of my lead magnets for my consultancy, and it works really well. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink, plug.
Yeah, link in bio.
Yeah. So question 1, right, is what do people come to you for advice, help, or an opinion on? And before you answer, don't think just about work. Think about your friendships, your family, think about your social circle, okay? Because what people naturally gravitate to you for in any area of life is important. So think about those, all right? It might be, I'll give you an example, it might be a colleague who always asks your opinion before making a decision. It might equally be one of your mates always coming to you when they need to think about something, through. It could be something that people in your family rely on you to stay calm about in a crisis. Everything counts, write it all down, okay? And it all makes sense in the end. So there's no one answer to this, there's several answers, yeah? So with that in mind, AJ, have you got an example you could possibly give?
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty. For business side of things, obviously, if the majority of people that come to me today in my new career role, which is obviously working online, digital marketing, etc., is a lot of people come to me for help and advice and guidance on, in theory, how to start, where to start, what to learn first, and obviously starting a business, because most people know that I've run businesses before. The sheer thought of opening a business or running a business petrifies a lot of people. But it's, you can simplify it and make it seem a lot easier than what people think that it has to be. Yeah. So I will have people come to me for advice on, creating content, for argument's sake today, social media especially, running a business. Personal wise, it's more along the lines of mates will come to me and ask me for help and advice about building, you know, putting an extension on their house or cleaning something, because obviously I run a cleaning business.
Yeah.
Lifestyle wise, you know, I've had blokes that have split up with their wives and, you know, got divorces and all that sort of stuff. And it's like
family sort of stuff.
Yeah, you know, it's sort of like if you can become a solution to people's problems naturally, then you are going to win in everything that you try normally, because people, there's a version of you inside everybody's head that you can't control, and everybody's version of you is different. So everybody thinks about you differently, and everyone will come to you for a different reason. So for example, one mate will come to me because he wants help with finding a builder that's going to build an extension. So another mate will come to me because he's just split up from his wife, and he just needs a mate, needs a shoulder to just rest his head on, you know, and just sort of like hash out, sit there, listen, and then, you know, once you listen, you can then start coming up with solutions. You can then ask the question back to make them realise what in theory they're asking you in the first place.
Yeah. I think it's if you're a person, excuse me, a person with empathy, then naturally people will come towards you anyway. So if you're a good listener in general, then they'll come to you. For me, I guess, you know, with work, it was just mainly running past ideas, especially when I was in corporate and I was running sales teams. They would come to me and they would ask me, or tell me about problems and run their solutions past me first, just for a bit of backup, or, you know, if I could tweak it in any way or suggest a different angle that they came from. So that was part of being a boss, but also you do get bosses that you wouldn't go to for help, you know what I mean? You've got to have a fairly open door. Oh God, there's a corporate word again. You've got to be, you know, you've got to let them have some autonomy, I think, when you're running a sales team, to go out and figure things out themselves and actually fail at times, you know, for them to grow and develop. It's the same in any job, really, when you're, if you like, their boss or a line manager, as they like to call it now. And then the same for me in personal stuff. It's very varied, depending on who the friend is, really. So it's food for thought, and it's a starting point for all of this. But it will start getting, the point of this first question really is to get your brain into gear about thinking about who you're talking to and what you're talking to. And
you've
who
got to
you're
think
talking
about
to.
what you've got to blow smoke up your own arse for a change. You know, you've got to write down into what you are good at. You know, there's a reason why people come to you for advice and help.
Yeah,
and write
absolutely.
that down.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Right, well, you've got to write all this down anyway. But like I say, there's not going to be one answer to that question.
No.
Question 2, and this one might surprise you, because most business and career worksheets that you have, right, they skip through this bit. But in my experience, it's often where the most valuable and marketable expertise is. Okay, so stick with it. It's what life experiences, this is a good one for us, what life experiences, good or bad, have you been through that have genuinely changed how you see the world, how you handle challenges, or how you help others? And let me just give you some context to that, right? It's not just about professional achievements or qualifications. Think about things like a redundancy that you navigated your way through, a health challenge that shifted your perspective and your priorities. It could be a period of rebuilding after everything fell apart, you know, maybe a relationship. In fact, relationships that taught you something that you couldn't have learned in any other way. All of these can carry sort of real value. Because someone out there is also going through what you've been through. So you're relatable, and if you're relatable, you can build trust and you can build relationships. So what did they learn that they desperately needed to hear? All right, write it down. Nothing's too big, nothing's too small, and nothing is irrelevant. And you may have to get a little bit uncomfortable with this one and be vulnerable. So I'm going to go first because I'm quite happy to talk about this.
Go for it.
The first one I'll talk about quickly, which is I've had heart problems since 2008. You know, I had a little mini heart attack when I was 34. Thought not a blocked artery, it was a little clot in a capillary or something. It was so minor, it was unreal. Didn't feel minor, mind. It scared the living crap out of me. but they treated it with just drugs. I didn't have to have a stent or anything. And what that makes you feel is, you remember, you know, if you get a brand new car, mate, and it's your pride and joy, and everything's perfect on the car, and then within like a couple of days, you just catch the rim, and you're like, oh,
fuck.
Yeah, you are. Your whole head is like, it's like that, yeah? The car is no longer perfect. It will never be the same. Doesn't matter you haven't had a crash, you've just taken a little nick out of a rim. The car is never going to be perfect. That's how I felt after my heart attack. I'm damaged goods now for the rest of my life, and this is that one little episode at 34. How I'm not going to make old bones, and I'm sure anyone who's had a life-changing or life-threatening, you know, thing like you have, it feels something along those lines. So it changes your perspective. It makes you realise that you are very close to just being out of this world at any point. Life is very precious, and it changes your whole perspective. And then to have, you know, I'm now just gone back into AFib, as you know, permanent atrial fibrillation, which is an irregular heartbeat, for the 4th time in 10 years. I had 3 procedures, and you know, you're thinking, how much more is my ticket going to put up with this before it goes, see you later, mate, checking out. So you're very acutely aware of time and things around you. So that changes my perspective a lot on things, right? So, but it's also given me the determination that I don't really want to die with regret or things that I haven't completed, and time is short, so you've got to crack on. I'm not too good at that yet. I'm trying to improve on that and taking action. And the second thing is, I lost my business, my own footwear business, footwear production business, and my marriage, which I didn't see coming. That just happened, bang, one day, no warning. And my dad. And most blokes will know that their dad's pretty much the hero to them, you know. And I lost all of that within the space of 18 months, 2 years. And at the time I was working away as a European sales manager for a Swarovski-owned company, and I was away a lot, and I didn't cope very well, mate. I ended up becoming very ill, having anxiety and panic attacks, and I didn't know what they were. I had no idea. Typical bloke, just knackered, just fucking knackered. Bury it. Until I nearly passed out driving, and then I pulled over into literally the Bell Hotel, which has been all over the news in the last year, when it was a hotel years back. I pulled into that in Epping, and I literally left the car key in the car, staggered through the door was open, everything. The company car was left in the car park. I don't know how it weren't nicked. And I said, get an ambulance. And my blood pressure was 204 over 105 or something. It was basically, they said, you're very close to pop in here. You could run 2 people on your blood pressure, you know. And as I was in hypertension and and then I saw my cardiologist because they were worried about my heart and that. And then they basically said, you are having a fucking nervous breakdown, son, and you need to get out of your job on the high pressure, and you need to deal with your life, and you need to get some help. So I got into therapy for, like, you know, cognitive behavioural therapy for 18 months, and the best thing I ever did. Can't recommend it enough for particularly blokes. And it's not what you think either. It's not sitting there on a couch crying. It's nothing like that. But it really sorts your head out. And again, that changed me, mate, because I feel like I had to relearn how to deal with stress, and how I deal with certain situations and certain people and certain issues and certain problems. I used to be quite angry. I'm not angry anymore. I'm really not. I know you are, but life, I can't afford to get angry, mate. So I have to let things just go, and see them for what they are. That it's all bullshit. Half of it's bullshit. So the way I look at life now, when problems come towards me, is like, well, what's the worst that can happen? You know, I've just got to deal with it. Head it straight head on. Deal with it, and this day too shall pass. I love that saying. Yeah. You're going to get up again tomorrow, God willing. You wake up, right, and you go again. You know, the sun will rise, the trees will be there, the birds will be singing. There'll be other people having road rage, but it won't be you, type thing. So that's the type of life-changing things and experiences that have absolutely fundamentally changed the way I look at everything, the way I handle challenges
situations
that come up. Yeah,
everything.
And also how I handle people as well. You know, you have to put new boundaries in place. You don't people please. You need to look after yourself. So, anyway, sorry, I bleated on quite a lot there, but
That's fine.
yeah.
No, I understand because, well, I can relate to that as well because everything that you mentioned at the beginning, where redundancies, having health issues, and I've been through all of that as well. So, I was made redundant from my roofing job, which it wasn't a massive surprise, but we got really stitched up by doing it, and it left a really, really horrible, bitter taste in my mouth. Where I came to the realisation that I never wanted to work for a company again. I never wanted to be employed. I wanted to be self-employed and run my own business because that level of sort of backhander promises that were broken and all that sort of stuff that was from the biggest roofing firm in the country at the time, only to then be made redundant because they ran out of work, which was absolute nonsense. It made me realise that, working, even the safe, secure job is no longer safe. Being employed doesn't make you safe, no matter how many promises they give you, etc., etc. So that was, a massive learning curve and a massive wake-up call for me to, I was self-employed previously, being a plasterer, working for a bloke that, he was a lovely, he became one of my best mates, even though he was my boss, but the way he ran his business, I didn't particularly like, but, you're working for someone who doesn't really make much difference, but to go from there to then being employed and safe, to then getting done over and stitched up, that was it for me. I had to then go, right, I need to build something of myself. I don't want to work for anybody else. I don't like the office politics that comes with running a building firm, roofing firm. I didn't particularly like the way that, plastering was run. I want to run my own business my own way, which is what I did. I then obviously set in motion to build my cleaning business. But before that, obviously from redundancy, I then went bankrupt. So I was then, I didn't have a pot to piss in. So I was scratching around trying to figure out what work was, how to get work, how to build a business.
What's the biggest lesson that you learnt there then, mate? Is it just resilience, just to get up every morning and go for it? Or was
I think it has to be, yeah. I mean, it changes the fact, it either does or it doesn't. It either switches the switch on where you go, I have to go and make something from here. Yeah. And you just go and do whatever it is you have to get done. I always just look at things and there's a thing in my head that I just have to sit there and go, fuck it, it's got to get done. And then I just go out and do it. There's no other way around it, unfortunately. You can't sit there and dwell on it because nothing will happen. You can't, blame everybody else because once you've blamed it 10,000 times, there's no one else to blame. No. So you have to pick yourself up and hold yourself accountable and go, nah, that's it. We're done. We're going to go and run with it ourselves.
Yeah.
And, that's exactly what I did. So, I started up my cleaning business with nothing, absolutely zero. I mentioned it in a podcast previously, where, I just took all the cleaning chemicals out the back, underneath my sink and put them in the car and went off and started cleaning houses and cleaning windows.
Just get up and do it. And what about
just get up and do it?
And what about, obviously I don't want to pry too much, but obviously your health issues in the last sort of 18 months, how's that changed your outlook?
Like you say, it was, for me, obviously I had no idea. I had a seizure. I had no idea it was coming. There was probably signs there, but I ignored it. I don't know what the signs are to, warrant having a seizure. But it happened. I just happened to be sitting downstairs, getting ready to go to bed at like 10 o'clock at night. And next thing I know, I'm waking up on my living room floor with paramedics around me. My wife obviously in like fight or flight mode sort of thing, or in fight mode. Yeah. My dog going completely mental. If it wasn't for my dog, in theory, raising the alarm, I wouldn't have survived that night. Because he saw me obviously have what happened to me. He was jumping on my chest and like thumping me on the chest, but barking. And my wife heard him going mad and came downstairs and obviously found me slumped in the chair. Cheryl and me took me to hospital, all night in A&E, all day in A&E, CT scans, blood tests, the lot. Basically found that I had, I think it's the short abbreviation of it is AVF, which is your arteries and your veins sort of, instead of being together, they're like that. So the blood pisses out of the vein and into your head. So my head was filled with blood and couldn't get rid of it. And that's when the light switched off, sort of thing. So I was fortunate that it was, you know, a small seizure, so to speak. But I also had it. And I had the second one on the way to A&E in the back of an ambulance. So, you know, tests, CTs, MRIs, transferred to Nottingham Hospital for the first operation. That didn't complete the work, so I had to go back for a second, third and fourth operation, obviously with gaps in between. So after a year and 3 months, year and 4 months maybe, I was actually given then the all clear, touch wood, where, you know, I've had 4 brain operations to fix all the leaky valves and all the leaky arteries in my head. So yeah, but because of that, it opens your eyes to what you were saying about life is very short and very fleeting. Although modern medicine will get us as far as we can possibly physically go, it still doesn't stop your body from giving up. You know, you can go to bed and never wake up again, like I did. I went and sat in my chair watching telly and nearly never woke up again. And you never know it's coming, but that then spurs you on then to realise and understand so much stuff we worry about means fuck all. It doesn't mean a single thing. All the things we worry about in the future, all the things we worry about in the past, it doesn't make any difference to planting your feet where you are today, going outside, taking a big deep breath of fresh air, and then realising you've got to build, this is your life here. You've got to build and put something in this to make you feel fulfilled. You've got to build it yourself. No one's going to build it for you. No manager you work for is going to, you know, offer you the world and all that sort of stuff. You have to go out and do the things you want to do to create the life that you've always wanted. And that, mate, that was a major turning point for me, because I wouldn't say drifting, but I was drifting. In my head, I wasn't drifting, but I was. You know, I was running my cleaning business. I was learning digital marketing. I was sort of balancing.
You weren't living with intention. I think that's the thing. I think it's one of the biggest learners, isn't it? If you, most people drift. I've drifted for years, but then when something like this happens, you actually live with intention.
I think it's a major problem for Gen Xers is the drifting, because you've been doing something for 25 plus years. Yeah. And when you're year 10, you think, I've made it 10 years in my job, blah, blah, blah. And you think you're going to get a congratulatory, the golden handcuffs and all that sort of stuff. You know, it's... I like the way you found there. All right, golden watch, whatever, whatever sort of kink you want to go down the road of. But yeah, it's when you get to 25, 30 years in a business or an industry or corporate, you sit there and realise that, yeah, I'm drifting. I'm literally been drifting through life for 15 years. Yeah. You know, the pay rises there, etc.
I sadly, this is the other thing with Gen Xers, and we better move on because of time, but when you're at our age, unfortunately, people pass away. And but it's nothing to do with my dad or anything like that going. It was actually a year and a half ago now. I'm very rich, as I've said before, in friends, and I've got 10 friends that have been around 40 years, and sadly, one of the wives of one of my friends passed from cancer Christmas before last, and the funeral was fucking amazing, mate. It was like over 300 people there. People couldn't get into the crematorium. It was like a perfect day to show, I won't mention her name, but show this person, you know, how much she was thought of. But in the week, because she knew she was going to die, she wrote in her notes on the phone, and this is profound, I've only just thought about this. She wrote in the notes of her phone a letter to her husband, my mate, a letter to her daughter, a letter to her mum and dad, and a letter to all her friends. And the letter to all her friends, I've never seen so many blokes crying in a funeral. It seemed to it's not about blokes and women, but for me it struck out a chord that maybe how many blokes are out there just drifting. And she basically said she did have anxiety. She didn't like it. She had a break-in basically years back, and it scared the life out of her. And she used to go out and think the worst was going to happen, or someone was going to break in or whatever. And so she was paranoid about a lot of things, and it's held her back for years and years and years. She knew it, we knew it, but it was just how this person, nearly said her name, and this person dealt with it. And in this letter it just said, I'm sitting here now knowing I've only got weeks. I absolutely beg and implore you all to do not sweat the small stuff. I have run out of time now to put that right, and you guys really, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. If you want to do something, if you want to get out of a situation, you want to leave your job, leave a relationship, change your life, go and travel the world, experience one of your dreams, whatever, just get up and do it. And that does come back to me from time to time. In fact, some of the boys, you know, we don't all meet up at once. We see each other, you know, all over the time. And yeah, quite a few of us bring that up because it was so profound. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, I can't really say more than that, really. When someone's in that position and they say that and write you a letter for their funeral to be read out, you sit up and listen, really. Yeah. Anyway, let's go on to something a bit more...
next question.
Yes, absolutely. Right. This is a big one for me. So, things that we've noticed about people at work is that things we find the easiest are almost always the things that we undervalue the most. It's massive. So if something comes naturally to you, your brain tells me it can't. Brain tells you it can't be worth anything, right? Because it wasn't hard to do, because it's natural to you, and that's one of the biggest lies we tell to ourselves. Okay, so this question is designed to challenge that. The question is, what do you know how to do, or how to navigate, that most people around you seem to struggle with or find overwhelming? And here's some context to that. It might be something practical. It might be organising a project, negotiating, selling, managing people, building something, or it might be something less tangible. It could be staying calm under pressure, like you, AJ, with technology. Seeing solutions where others see dead ends, right? Yep. You're very good at that, and I mean that. Knowing the right questions to ask in a difficult situation. So if someone has ever said to you, I don't know how you do that, or I wish I could think like you, write that down. That's your answer. I haven't got any examples for that. I think we should just leave that and let people think about that themselves. You got anything to quickly add to that?
No, not really, but you're right. It's, you know, when you've been doing something for a very long time, you take it as second nature. You don't believe that it's worth any money, and anything that you think that comes, like you just say, anything that comes naturally easy to you is something that you can turn and monetize, because there's so many people out here that are, you know, they'll see you on your worst day, for argument's sake, and they still wish that they were doing what you were doing because of the way that you controlled your day, or the way that you talked to someone, or the way you did that part of your job, or whatever it is. So no matter how bad your day is, there's always someone else that wishes they were in your shoes. So no matter how small the thing is that you find easy, write it down, because that one small thing could help 10,000 people, because they're all struggling with the same sort of thing.
Right, cool. Brilliant. Well done. Question 4. Oh. This is where what you know meets who you can help. This sort of starts to correlate it, okay? So just answer this one as honestly and specifically as you can. Take your time on this one, all right? Think about a time you helped someone, formally or informally, and it genuinely made a difference to them, okay? Who they were, what were they struggling with, and what did you say or do that was helpful? So, and again, some context to that. It doesn't have to be a dramatic example. It doesn't have to be like saving a life or anything like it. It could be a colleague you helped think through a problem, a friend you talked through a difficult decision, someone you guided through a process they found overwhelming. But just describe the situation simply, who they were, what the problem was, and what you did. And if you can think of more than one example, write them all down. The more the merrier, because of where we go to in the next question. You're very good at this, mate. I mean, what you do with your business, I've seen, when especially on your lives, where someone comes on and say, well, I've got this side of business, what do I do with it? And you guide them along. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a weird it's like, for argument's sake, you could go down the road of, like, saying sports coaches. So a football coach, tennis coach, snooker coach, whatever coach, they're not as good as the professional, because if they were, they would be a pro. But they see it from a different point of view. So a professional golf coach, for argument's sake, will stand and watch a professional golfer hit 3,000 balls and pick out one tiny little issue and correct it, and that ball then flies straighter, truer, longer, further, whatever it is. And that professional golfer will struggle with that for months and weeks and years on end, and that one coach has done that one tweak and it's completely changed the whole entire game, sort of thing. So it's like, it doesn't have to be, like you say, it doesn't have to be something that you've done that they've changed their life and magically become this new person. It's literally, there's the saying of there's a stranger out there that will remember you for life just because you said hello to them. And it's something as simple as that. Yeah.
It's actually funny enough, you walk along the street, especially up here, because not where we're from, London, no one says hello to anyone down there. If they say hello, they're about to stab you or rob you. But up here,
back off.
Yeah, exactly. But around here, up in North Essex, in Colchester, Essex, massive. You walk around here and, mate, you literally yesterday, someone made my day yesterday. I was walking along, and I had my serious head on, because I was taking it for a, you know what. Yeah. And these two people just walked past me and, afternoon. I was like, oh, afternoon. And I was
snaps you out of it.
Do you know what I mean? It snaps you out. It's so nice. I think the one thing I will say that where I helped, and it's helped about 3 people, and they were friends, where they've come to me and we've had a coffee and stuff, and they've said, I don't know where to start. I just don't know where to start. I can't see the woods for the trees here. And I've just said to them, have you ever done a very simple exercise called a brain dump? Get a big sheet of paper, write everything in your head. I mean everything. The fact you've got to buy a toilet roll, the fact you've got to cook dinner, the fact that you've got to make your bed because you're changing your sheet, the fact that you've got these jobs to do. Don't put it in an order, just put it randomly on a paper. It doesn't have to be in lists or columns or anything. Just throw it down. As it comes into your head, throw it down. Get up when you're done, when you've got nothing left in your head, go away for an hour, come back, then look at it fresh, and then look at, okay, that belongs in that area, that belongs in that area, that belongs in that area, and then when you've got the areas, you can go, right, I want the top 3 from that, top 3 from that, top 3 from that, forget the rest. That's it. And the other bit of advice, I think, was try and make a list of 5 things to do a day. Everyone's got a to-do list that's got 50 things on them. You're never going to get 50 things done. You're going to get overwhelmed. So
exactly,
the top 5 things, the 3 that have to be done, and 2 are a cherry on top. Per day. That's it.
And then also, just before you go to bed, this is another technique that you can use. This is what I do. Is if you've got a to-do list and you don't complete the task, because no one ever does, write down the things that you didn't complete before you go to bed on a bit of paper next to your bed. And also write a not to-do list. So write a list of things that you stop yourself from doing. Don't scroll. Don't get carried away watching a television programme. Don't waste your time. Get the shit done on your to-do list, and then you can then put your trotters up and relax.
One other little bit. We've gone way off tangent here, but if you've got a list, what you got? If you've got a list of 5 things to do the worst one first.
Yep.
Everyone does the easy things first because it's a form of procrastination, right? Do the worst one first, because once you've got that out of the way, the rest of your day is going to be much easier. You're fresher to do the harder task in the morning. Anyway, that's that. Happy days. Happy to help. We're here all week. Right, the last part of this is you've done the hard part. So we need to look back at everything that you've written previously and all the questions, And hopefully you will start noticing something. There's going to be a thread running through your answers, like a pattern or a theme that keeps showing up. Okay, and the final question is about joining all these things together. So it's a question. Looking at everything that you've written down, what is the one thing that keeps coming up? It may be a skill, maybe a strength, maybe an experience or a type of person you keep mentioning. And if you had to summarise in 1 or 2 sentences what you could genuinely help someone with based purely on your answers above, what would it be? I'll say that again. Looking at everything you've written down, what is the one thing that keeps coming up? A skill, a strength, an experience or a type of person you keep mentioning. If you had to summarise in 1 or 2 sentences what you could genuinely help someone with based purely on your answers above, what would it be? And this basically is going to be the format of the bit of experience that we can then dive deeper into and figure out if it's, you know, if we're able to turn it into a business.
Yeah.
And you might be surprised by the result, because everyone thinks it's going to be knowledge that they've got in work.
Yeah.
And suddenly someone comes up with, whoa, I've helped people out with this problem, that problem, and suddenly they realise that actually they're more of a life coach, or they should be getting into social care, or they should be, and actually they help people with, you know, problems and
coping mechanisms.
They could
and all
be
that sort of
someone,
stuff.
instead of selling stuff, they need to help people put structure in place in their lives or in their jobs or whatever. So
your life experience, the things that happen to you in your life that you learn, that you have to learn to deal with. You had a heart attack, had to learn how to live with, you know, problems with your heart all the time. I've had seizures. I've had to learn how to, in theory, you know, realise that a lot goes on up here. And, you know, your lights can be switched off at any given moment. But if you're in a job and you're, say for example, you're in HR, your job every day, all day is solving other people's problems. And that you can take just one of those problems and you can become a consultant. You can become a freelancer. You can turn that into a guide that helps people out. If you know, even if you're on a building site and you are a multi-tradesman, for argument's sake, you know, you get plumbers and electricians that are multi-trade, and yet they can go up to someone who's just an electrician or just a plumber and go, right, okay, after 30 years of doing this, if you just do that, it's going to make your life 10 times easier, and your job, every job's going to be 20 times quicker, sort of thing. And it only takes just one thing, and that's, people overcomplicate it, obviously. So obviously writing everything down, you clear the clutter inside your head. You clear the madness that's inside there, or the clusterfuck, as I like to call it, that's causing the chaos inside your brain. Yeah.
Well, it is another way of thinking about this as well. What you've said is right. Whatever you do, don't worry if it's not polished or word perfect yet. Right, those that 2 sentences, just write it down, okay? And it doesn't need to be at this stage of the process. Just be honest and make it as simple as you can. That's the advice I give. But think of it. If you're struggling to think of it, ask yourself a question like, I think I could help. Sorry, if you're struggling with structuring the sentence, that's what I should have said as a context to that. Think of it like this. So the sentence could read, I think I could help this type of person with this type of problem or challenge because, and give the reason from your experience. And that's it. That's an example. That's all you need, right? And that is the seed of what's going to become your offer down the line. And it's more valuable than you actually realise right now. It will look very simple and very simplistic, and you can't build anything out of that. But everything has to grow from somewhere. And if you can just figure that bit out, happy days.
Oh yeah, and it has, and it's, you know, if you can see your next step in front of you, then that's all you need to worry about. You don't need to worry about the top step. That will come as you grow your business, as you build out whatever it is you're doing. As long as you can see your next step in front of you, just take it.
Yeah.
And if it takes you, you know, it's the easiest way of learning how to build anything. Is if you can see the first step, if you can see your next step in front of you, take it. No matter how dark it is, you can always step forward.
Absolutely. I think that's a good place to finish, mate, actually. We've gone 40 minutes. I know we've waffled a bit. Well, we haven't. We've gone off tangent a bit, and we've gone quite deep into some of our own experiences. But people,
it's a chat, isn't it? It's the whole point.
A chat, and people need to know who we are and where we've come from and what's shaped us. So hopefully that's helped people. If you've got any questions, what I'll do, I'll actually drop this. It's a Google Doc. I'll drop this in the bottom.
Yeah.
So people have got the questions, they can answer it. There's space there to
download
answer.
it, print it off, write it out.
Again, reach out to me or AJ on this, and we'll help you in the comments below. And yeah, if you want help just walking your way through, or if it's brought up something you're not sure of, that's what we're here for, to help
Always
people.
reach out.
Absolutely.
Never hesitate to ask a question.
No, never. And the next, absolutely. You know,
the hesitation from most people is fear of looking stupid. So they don't ask the question in case someone goes, well, that's a stupid fucking question.
There's no such thing
as
a stupid question.
Exactly.
Absolutely not. So next week we're going to go the last step, which will be, okay, what sort of business can you build from this? And
audience.
also looking at your audience, which is key.
Important.
So that's what we'll talk about.
Yeah.
Anyway, on that note, mate, I've got a new outro, another new outro.
Right.
Yeah. You know what's coming.
Yeah,
dedicated to you, mate. Absolutely. Right. Yeah. I've had enough of that.
Yeah. Ugh.
I'm out of here. See ya.
Right, yeah. I'll see you later.
Bye.
Ta-da.